Hello and welcome to another video about Agent Workbench. I'm Miguel Amado, and in this one I'm going to talk about using agents in your workflow. We'll see how we can orchestrate them, and we'll see how we can put a human in the loop, because you want some decisions by your agents and AI, but you want to have control over other things yourself. So let's go and see how we can do that in OutSystems. So, context. We have been working in previous videos with the Amado's car renting application, and today we're going to create a very simple workflow. The objective is for me to start a process to evaluate a car and see if it needs to go to maintenance or if it has too much mileage that needs to be sold. So what our workflow is going to do and what our agents are going to do is as simple as we submit a new car. The first agent, the fleet manager, is going to understand how many mileage does it has, and if it's above a threshold, it's going to send to a human to approve the selling of the car because it's too old. If it's below that limit, it's going to send to another agent, the one that we built in previous videos, the mechanic agent, that is going to start a thread of emails with our car workshops. The human is going to decide if we truly send the car to be sold, or if now this is too much mileage but I still want to use that car, and they send to maintenance either way. And then it starts with a mechanic agent. Maybe you're not clearly seeing it, but when we start implementing it and you see the workflow, it's going to be like visual magic, as OutSystems is. So let's start by creating the agents we need. Creating an agent is very simple. I've done it 4 times before, so just putting the name, selecting the icon. In this case, it's going to be the fleet manager that is going to make the decision, and we're off. For our fleet manager, we're going to need some data for it to make its decisions. So first, I'm going to get my vehicle information. We're going to filter the information by the VIN, and we are going to get rentals for this car on the last ordered by date. And these are going to be like the last 50, let's put 50 rentals. Then we are going to serialize these two information, and we are going to put here on our grounding data. So car information and rental information. After the grounding data, we are going to define our system prompt. We're going to say that it is a fleet manager. We're going to put a threshold to evaluate the mileage on 30,000 kilometers. And then we're putting examples and structuring the output to make the best consistent output. On the OutSystems side, we're going to create a structure from that same output. So when we have our answer from the agent, we can deserialize it to an OutSystems structure. Finally, we're defining the response as the action that we've seen previously, just so we can have one-word instruction. Our agent is done. Very simple, very straight to the point, very fast. Our fleet manager. Now we are going to change our application so we can have a workflow. We'll need to add some human interactions to it. We need to add some data. Let's go and find out. So for any workflow, I like to have an entity to store the control and the status of that said workflow. So we'll begin by creating an entity that is the vehicle maintenance. It's going to have the VIN information, it's going to have the branch, and also it's going to have a status. So for that, we're going to create a static entity, vehicle maintenance status, and it's going to have 4 status. So the submitted, the waiting human approval, the sent to maintenance, and the sent to sell. Let's just add this status to our vehicle maintenance. We just want to store always when there is an update, store that date time, and we're all set. To create and to interact with a workflow, we'll need 2 events. The first, the new maintenance request, that is going to be used to start the workflow, and then the human decision. This event will represent the decision of the human during the workflow, as the name indicates. Each one has inputs, so we can know that information during the workflow. For the new maintenance request, the VIN and the branch ID. For the human decision, a boolean is to sell. Don't forget the vehicle maintenance ID in the new maintenance request. To allow the workflow to change the status in the application, we have created two service actions, the maintenance status human decision and the send maintenance, that simply update the status on the entity. We have our service actions for our workflow, so now we're going to go to our actions for our screen, beginning with creating a new car maintenance. It receives a VIN and a branch ID, and it's a very simple create CRUD where we define the date time and the status as submitted. And most importantly, we trigger the new maintenance request event. Then we're going to go to the human decision action. This will be used to take the human decision. It receives a vehicle maintenance ID and a boolean telling if it's to sell or to go to maintenance. So we just do an if. We select for which status we want to do according to the boolean, and finally we trigger the event that a human decision was made. We just need to add now the UI to the application. We're going to create a block, a maintenance block, and this is going to have a VIN and a branch ID as an input. We will do a query where we get the vehicle maintenance according to that branch and that VIN, and we are going to do some logic to put the buttons according to the status that the vehicle maintenance is at the moment. Finally, we associate the actions that we just created and we add it to the screen of the vehicles. So for each vehicle, we will have one vehicle maintenance. We have the changes in our application done, and we'll start with the workflow, creating a new one and selecting the proper event, the new maintenance request, to start the process. And to make the decision, we're going to use our Amados Fleet Manager agent, that is our orchestrator, that is going to decide if we send it to sell or send it to maintenance. We call the service action, and for the input, we pass the VIN. For the session, we're using the activity instance ID. You can use anything. In this case, it's not important. We put the decision and we compare the bot reply with it to sell. Remember that we force the Amados Fleet Manager answer to be as stable as we can. We evaluate if it's a to sell. If it's not, we call a different agent, the mechanic agent, to start the process of sending emails to the car shops. If not, we're going to put here the human in the loop. It's going to have to make a decision, and that decision is based on a boolean that we created for the event. If it's to confirm the sale, it ends. If it's to send to maintenance, it calls the mechanic bot. And that's pretty much it. Very simple. Let's test our flow. We're going to select here a branch on our screen and select a car with a mileage below 30,000 kilometers. Starting the process, we can check here on the portal how's it going. We see that it has started, and the fleet manager it's making the decision, and it decided that it should be sent to maintenance. So it worked according to our specifications. And we can see here in the email that the car was indeed selected and sent an email about it. Selecting a car with a mileage above 30,000, we can see on this new instant that the fleet manager made a decision to send to the human in the loop, and the process is now waiting for us to approve and to send to the sale or to maintenance. We can click on send to sale, and when we go back to our process, we see that the flow has finished as we expected. And that's it. We have an agent telling other agents to do stuff, or even telling humans to do stuff. And this is just a very simple example. You can extrapolate, you can use your creativity, and you can see what you can automate using agents. This has been very fun. You have other videos, I don't know where, but you have playlists and videos of agents, another agent, another day. So have fun, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.